Welcome, one and all, to another brand new episode of Undisputed Anime. A place where we like to talk about anime, manga, and such. Of course, we do. I am your host, Zane Taicho, aka Zane. As always, I'm joined by my fantastic co-host, Mr. Susu Day. How are you, good sir?
It's been a while. It's not been a while. It's only been like 2 weeks.
I know. 2 weeks have flown by, though.
It really has. It feels like I've done so much, but I've felt like so little time has passed. It's just the days are
Oh,
blurring into one.
that's true. They are blurring, catching up. We're already in the midst of 2022. Can you believe it?
Half the presses.
Half the presses. Um, Before we go into the tier list, we got a few housekeeping things to get off with. So first off, we got a brand new logo, which looks fantastic.
That's this hand here, and it's here.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
But yeah, it's some fantastic. It's us as the UA students and Ray Chan when he joined sometimes.
You've basically written a really big check that he's now obliged to cash. Like he's gonna have to get involved again now. You've kind of tied him to the show without his consent.
I mean, he did one episode, and what an episode! Some would say it changed the course of this podcast forever.
It might have. Well, yeah, it really did.
Also, I wanted to introduce a new segment to the show, which I'd like to call Yo Josuke. In this segment, I wanted to touch on a few anime news, some tidbits, as we say on Undisputed Nerds. How do you feel about that?
I'm down with that.
You down for that?
I am. Yeah. What not?
Yeah,
you're the showrunner. You just point and I'll run in that direction.
I'll hit you with some anime news and let me know what you think. And for those who are listening or watching, let me know in the chat as well or in the comments, because right now we're live on YouTube. I always forget to mention that. We're live on YouTube right now. So I guess it's kind of old, but it's definitely worth pointing out that the Jujutsu Kaisen movie is coming to North America in February.
Ooh. Well, that's exciting because that might mean we might get that trickle down into Europe.
To the UK cousins. I'm so excited to see this. I know I've said it before on this podcast. I'm so excited.
It's so well contained to be a movie that I'm really excited to see what they're. And I mean, I've only heard good things.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've gone to see worse things in the cinema. So you go and see a movie that everyone's like, oh no, that movie's trash, that's bad. You still go and see it, don't you? Because you're like, oh well, maybe I'll think different. But I've only heard good things about this movie. So
yeah. Plus, numbers wise, it's been knocked off the top spot in Japan by Spider-Man, which is obviously shows the power of Spider-Man.
Still not seen it yet, but it's fine.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
In other news, you're a fan of BTS, right?
Calling myself a fan would be an insult to fans, I imagine. I am a very, very casual and occasional listener. However, if you put a BTS music video in front of me, I'm not going to turn away. Those are masterpieces. They're like it's like watching anime openings, and I think I know where you're going with this. If this is, if you've mentioned them.
So BTS is getting its own manhwa series. So similar to a manga, but it's a Korean manhwa. Would you read this?
I mean, is it about? Is it got some fighting in it? Is it a slice of life? What are we talking here? Are they fighting? Are they fighting as themselves, and are they fighting demons coming out of gates that have appeared all around the world, dungeon
All we know,
breaks, and
it
special
could be
power.
solo leveling, but BTS level.
Well, you've got me sold right there. Speaking of solo leveling, what?
I
I
thought
don't
you
know
were
if it's
going
on
to
your
go with
list.
that.
Yeah, you got
It's not on my list, but go ahead.
Yeah, solo leveling's gonna get an anime.
I don't know if it's been confirmed anywhere yet, though. That's the
It's
thing.
getting
Right?
confirmed.
Saw so many rumors about this on Twitter, but I don't know if Mappa are picking this up or Studio Wit. I have no idea at this point.
They're gonna pick it up. Why wouldn't they pick it up? You're embarrassing me live on YouTube.
I am really looking forward. If there is an anime series, I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
This is something that you're actually reading for currently, isn't it? Or have you
It
actually finished?
is. I haven't finished it. No, no way.
But I know it is something you've been reading, and you've been checking in every now and then to show us where you're at. So
I do read now and again. I don't get the chance as much as I used to, but I do read every now and
you're a
again.
busy guy.
Busy guy on 2 podcasts.
You've got a whole squad to command, haven't you? You've got to protect Soul Society from hollows.
I mean, if I wonder what number my Goten would be. Goten, maybe I'll just have a new one.
He's going to make it number 14. You're going to be come in there and shake up the whole politics of the place.
Establishment, yeah. In other news, I don't know if you've already seen this, but Crunchyroll revealed its nominees for Best Anime. Here are the nominations. So we've got Odd Taxi, which I've heard great things about, Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, Ranking of Kings,
okay,
86, and Sunny Boy.
Okay.
Interesting list.
It is an interesting list. I know what I'd choose, but I'm not everyone.
If you were betting, what would you put your money on?
I'm probably gonna put my money. If I'm gonna follow my brain, I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be Attack on Titan that's gonna win.
See, I think it might be Jujutsu Kaisen.
See, that's what I want to win, and that's what I think should win. But I think we've all talked about my thoughts about Attack on Titan. But I'd be a fool to argue that it's not like hugely popular, and it's popular in a way that is like kind of embraced by people who aren't always watching like anime and stuff. So I think that it's got a lot behind it that makes it a pretty solid contender for the top spot. Even if I don't necessarily agree that it should get the top spot.
Yeah. Again, a few reactions on Twitter. Probably the biggest one is that a lot of people noticed that Jobless Reincarnation wasn't on this list.
Well, I'm sure that Crunchyroll has their reasons. Maybe they forgot when they were a bit too busy trolling us. Did you see this?
No.
So in the awards, they have obviously the best protagonist, and on that list is Eren Yeager. But they've also got a list which is the best antagonist, and on that list is Eren Yeager. He's on both lists, which is great. Really love that.
That is fantastic. Have you seen the meme going around saying the only person that can stop Eren is Naruto with his no talk jutsu?
I hadn't. Gonna look for it.
I think I've got it saved somewhere, so I'll send it to you. But that's fantastic. Nominated for both villain and hero. Oh.
I mean, if you've never watched it before and you saw that, then you're really gonna be your mind's gonna be racing as to what's gonna
happen. Crazy. That's our segment. That's Oi Josuke.
Oi
Josuke!
Let us know if there's any anime news that we've missed. Let us know if you enjoy this segment. We'll probably carry on doing this. It's a great conversation point, I think.
I would agree.
Susu Day agrees. Great.
Only my opinion matters. Don't worry.
That sounded so sarky. Shall we roll on to some Bleach action now?
I think I can accommodate that.
Nice. So it's fair to say Bleach, some people are discovering Bleach for the very first time. Some people are veterans veterans, is that the right word?
I guess so.
Con-
We're
concierge?
seasoned connoisseurs of Bleach.
Connoisseurs, there you go, great word. Of the IP. So we thought it'd be great to actually look back and talk about some of the best and worst openings for the series. I just had a total mind blank there. Did you see that?
I did. I saw your eyes just go completely vacant. You stared off into the abyss. It's like you're hearing the voices, aren't you? It's like, where's my boy? Like, they took my baby.
My name is Giorno Giovanni. So, yeah, some of us again are rewatching Bleach or discovering it for the first time. So we thought it'd be a great opportunity to look back at the openings because there are some bangers in this list.
Rewatching is an understatement. Because I'm tired, friend. I'm tired.
Let's start off with the first one by Orange Range. The song Asterisk, yes. As an opening sequence, it's a great mood setter, I think. Like, you've got the fashion part of Bleach, you've got the friends element, and you've got the Shimigami fighting.
What I will say about Asterisk and what I think makes it such a good opening sequence, especially for the first opening of this series, is that even though it's the first series, even though there are obviously going to be people who didn't read the manga who are just going to be watching the anime,
Yeah.
you watch this opening sequence, it gives very little away to what the anime. If you were to show me Bleach, like the first opening, and ask me what is this about, I would never guess it had anything to do with spirits.
Yes, very true. Yeah,
like it is. I would imagine it was a slice of life with maybe a touch of samurai.
Yeah, like in a weird way, kind of like a time traveling slice of life. Every now and again, he ends up in like a samurai Edo area sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, very bizarre because it doesn't show any hollow. Now you mention it, there's no hollows.
none at all.
There's nothing else. That's really cool actually that you mention it. I really like it. I really like the animation in it. I really like the vibe, the colors, and of course all the like fashion in it. I completely forgot in that opening. Ichigo's dad is dressed as Elvis.
Yeah,
Random.
it's also like just it's interesting in the way that it's really playing heavily on the fact that all of the chapter artwork for Bleach is like, especially in the early days, is all really fashionable. It's all really cool and stuff, and they still do that in later volumes. Like you'll have like chapter artwork where it's like just everyone looking like sick as hell. Like,
Yeah, the drip is real.
and the song itself, Asterix, is just. I think at that point it was probably the most different in terms of, because most animes either you get a J-pop or you get a J-rock, whereas Asterix is very much its own thing. It's like I guess for all intents and purposes it's a rap.
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of like an alternative, isn't it? It's a combination of the sort of J rocky pop and, like you said, there's a rap verse in there as well.
Yeah.
So it sticks in my head all the time. Like once I hear it once, it's on loop sort of thing. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And there's just like that great bit in the middle where they spell out goodbye and stuff like that. And like I always like sometimes me and my wife will look at each other and go, G-O-D-bye and stuff.
Where do you think it lands on the list if you
So
had to put it in?
this is going to be difficult for me, my friend, because I'm going to be very unbiased. Very biased on this because I've got a lot of fond memories about this.
Yeah.
Bleach, and they've got some really good openings. So if I made this tier list, there might be an S, a B, and a D.
Ooh. Yeah.
I would probably put Asterisk at A or S.
Here's my trailer thought. I completely agree with you, but I think I'd probably put it in an A, knowing what's coming up later, which I think are instant S's.
Okay, that's fair. I'm happy to concede on that because I agree. This is already good. This is a strong start.
It is a very strong start. Let's get on to opening 2, which is D-tecnoLife by UVERworld. This is again another strong banger, and on multiple layers. Not only do you have UVERworld, who are one of the most successful J-rock bands.
J-rock, yeah.
J-rock bands. They have done a plethora of anime openings, and they've all been fantastic.
Yeah.
Even Blue Exorcist.
Even Blue Exorcist. And I think that the song choice is great. Opening is great. I believe that once again, for a story that is about like samurai who kill spirit monsters called hollows, I don't think there are any hollows in the opening in the second opening sequence. It's all about because it's the start of their infiltration into Soul Society to save Rukia.
Yes.
So all of the fights you see are fights between Shinigami.
Yeah.
Which is great. You get that great scene at the start where it shows the gang standing in the winds. They look like a 90s boy band, all in the white.
Yeah, that's true. I really like that scene though, because they're all wearing different types of like t-shirts and vests and stuff. I think
Yeah,
it's a great kind of sort of way of showing they're a group but individuals at the same
yeah.
time.
I agree. I don't hate that. I don't hate it. I just it's when something just seems it's matches so closely with some other form of media that you've seen, and
Yeah.
like that's very very 90s boy bands.
And the thing is, it's so out of place as well because it's not like they did that sort of training where they all had to stand there on a peak somewhere with their eyes closed.
Yeah.
It's just put in there for sake. But I really like that bit. Yeah, it's a really cool opening. It also has some other characters in there. Like I'm trying to think of his name now. Is it Gunji? The
Ganju.
yeah.
Hmm.
He's in this opening, and I don't think he makes an appearance after this.
Yeah, he's in he shows up once or twice in the opening, and he shows up at the very end of it where they're running towards
Yeah.
the hill. You get to see all the captains. Well, you get to see most of the captains, I think, in this
Yeah.
opening. You get to see because until the very end of the season 1 or the first
Mhm.
arc, I guess. The first time you see a Shinigami release their Zanpakuto was Renji,
Yes.
and then you also see Byakuya
Yeah.
release his Zanpakuto. I think you do at the very end before they return to Soul Society. So in the opening sequence, you start seeing hints that Zanpakuto are much more complex than
Mm.
they were made out to be in the first season. You start realizing, oh, wait, that child has a sword that is like the same size as Ichigo's sword. Like, what's going on here? But I don't think you start seeing actual sword releases.
No. You're right. You only see like Renji's Shikai
Yeah,
because it ends with them fighting in the with all the swords around them in the training
Yeah.
part. If you
So, but yeah,
uh,
it's a
yeah,
great opening sequence. You start that's telling a story. We know why we're there. We're there to save Rukia from execution.
except for Ishtar, who just wants to fight Shimigami.
Yeah, he's just there to break the establishment, isn't he? No, he's there to help out Rukia as well. He owes her his life. She saved him from getting murked by Renji.
Mm. Great song to match a great arc. I forgot to ask, where would you place this? S
I'd
or
probably
A?
I'd put it at A.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think once again it's great. There are better
Mm.
ones.
Interesting. I will concede because I would have put this in an S.
Yeah,
I think it's a banger, but
yeah,
again,
I agree. But I think that there are stronger content, like instant S's.
let's get on to the next one because the next one's really interesting. Ichiran, I'm going to butcher this.
Ichirin
Ichirana no
Hana.
Hana, by High and Mighty Color. I was blown away by this opening, mainly because of the screamo element of this. It's a very hard one.
It got so much more hardcore, and this opening sequence is much darker than. And yeah, I suppose Bleach has done a very good job of rolling with what the story is.
Yeah.
So when it's doing like main arc stuff, the opening sequence always really reflects very well what's going on. The whole tone, and around that point things are starting to get more serious. You start to find out that things in Soul Society might not be quite as idyllic as they seem. Things might not be quite as orderly or going as well as they think that they are. The fights that Ichigo is getting into, in fact the whole gang get into, are becoming much more dangerous. They're putting their lives on the line regularly. It's much faster paced. I think you do start seeing. I think at the end of Ichirin no Hana, you see Ichigo taking his going into Bankai stance.
Yes, you do.
At the very end, with you hold it up to the front, the sash wraps around his arm.
Yeah, and the camera sort of does this weird pan around because you
Hands
see
around
him
him, yeah.
face off against Bakia, and then it comes around to him face on, and then zooms in on his face as he's releasing the Bankai.
Yeah, so you
So
don't actually see his Bankai, do you? Well, actually, no.
no,
I think you see it right at the very end, don't you? You see him.
I don't know if there was another version, but the first version I watch, it very much kind of goes into his face as he's glowing blue. It's such a great opening sequence. Like you said, it really toes the line on the sort of darker side of things without it being like ridiculously dark. Yeah, I love this. Also, it's probably worth mentioning there was the Hollow remix.
What that? Was it 8 minutes long?
I think it was.
Oh, so good. I remember that so well. I had it on my like nameless MP3 player from a cheap shop. You know, the ones where you could only have like maybe 20 songs on it. It was only like 500 megs.
I was gonna say 512 megabytes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that this is a strong out the gate. Is it S material though?
Ooh, is it an
Because I
S?
think that the song is S material, but is the opening itself S material?
I think the thing with this opening is it's selling the Bankai. Like it's teeing you up to be like you're going to
This
see
is the
something
thing.
special.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is the
but
thing.
we're not going to show you it here.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Mm.
Ooh, where would you be placing this, Zane?
I really like the fact that there was a remix off the back of this. I don't know why. There's probably other remixes of the others, but this one was just everywhere. I like every other AMV had the Hollow remix. I think it's a very high A. I don't know if it is an S.
I'd be happy to agree with you on that. I think
Yeah.
once again, very strong. Like this, I think this whole list is going to be mainly A's and S's. But
I don't know. Some of these filler ones.
oh, that's why I said mainly A's and S's. This is not exclusively.
Okay, so we've got 3 in the A category already. This is a strong start for an anime series, by the way.
Yeah, this is really strong. I mean, we're going on to, and I'm gonna say this out loud. I'm gonna say this out loud now. Not even
Mm,
you don't even need to reveal the name right now.
okay.
The next one is an instant S from me, and which is what makes it even more surprising is that
Mm.
it's filler. This is the opening sequence to a filler arc. But we've got the next on the list is Tonight by Beat Crusaders, and it is just so good.
Sorry, could you just repeat that this is a filler opening and it's an S?
This is the first filler arc, the
Mm,
bounce filler,
yeah.
and as much as it pains me to say this, the opening sequence is an S, insta S. That's for me anyway. I mean, it's got the tempo.
Mm,
It's got great fight scenes. I don't even care that the fights we're seeing are fights with like filler antagonists. I
does it
just
have fights in it?
yeah, it's got a couple of fights towards the end of it. I think. Actually, no, it isn't. Am I thinking about the next one? No, I'm certain that at some point during the filler arc, the opening changes and you see
Yes.
like the some fights in it.
Yes. The first version is that you see someone asleep amongst the crystals and they sit up from a
Yeah.
distance, and then it goes through all the villains. But a lot of the first part of the opening is very sort of persona.
Oh yeah, it's like them running, isn't it? Like, and it's just
There's loads of like TVs mounted on top of each other, if you know what I mean,
mhm,
and stuff.
Con getting
So
stepped on.
yes, yeah, um, yeah, Bound Arc.
Yeah, I know it. These a bad taste in the mouth when you say it, but tonight is just like I think, especially rolling off the previous opening, this was
Mm,
such a great change of pace. Like it was just a much more light-hearted like theme. Like they finished this like battle in Soul
mhm.
Society. They're getting back. They're trying to get back to their normal lives, but wait, no, something wicked's this way come, eh? I love it. I love it. And I'm also fond of the fact that the album. Have you seen the album artwork for?
I haven't, no, no.
I'm gonna find it just now because it's one of my favorite like album artworks. Yeah, I'll send it to you, and you can, if you want, you can share it on screen.
Yeah.
However you wish to do so. Let me just get it so I can send it as a tab of its own, so no one can see your sensitive details.
Are you using the comment section?
Nope, I've sent it in Messenger because
Okay, cool.
it's like one of my favorite album artworks.
Uh, okay, I'm just gonna copy and paste it straight in. Let's have a
Do it.
look. Oh wow.
It's just people sitting in like a airport, but they've all got hollow masks on. And in amongst them, you've got like you see the guy with like the paper over his face. That's one of the Beach Crusaders because that's like what their thing was. They have these like
Ah,
masks. Because one of the best live performances I saw on YouTube of Tonight is
yeah.
them all on stage at this like concert outside, and they've got these giant like inflatable heads, and they're on wires as well, so they can like jump around the stage like really high. It's incredible. I'm gonna have to try and find it and send it to you later on. Um, but I love love that they went so hard into
That is very
Bleach for
cool,
this.
though. Yeah, that is very cool because, like you said, they're all wearing the hollow mask, which is the hollow mask of the hollow that Ichigo first defeats when he
Yeah.
unlocks his like Shimigami powers. That's
So
very cool. I like that.
yeah. Little gem for you there. So I put it at S. Sorry, that's my view on that. But what's yours? What do you think?
Uh, I mean, if this was court, that's a very strong case. Like, there's a lot of things there, a lot of evidence to back it up. You've just delivered.
I know, and I hate doing it because it's a filler arc. But you got to give credit where credit's due. It had an absolutely banging opening sequence.
It had a very, very good opening sequence, like a very strong song. Like I said, I like all of the sort of persona parts of it, shall we say. I just don't know if I could say it's better than the last two.
Okay, well, I would happily place it at A. I will concede. Well, I'll meet you in the middle as long as you're not trying to put it lower than that.
I would never put it lower than an A. Even though it has a stigma of being a filler, I would never put it lower than an A. It's just I don't know if I could say it's better than the last two, like
Nope,
opening 2 and 3.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Put it in at A. Well, now, where next?
We are moving on to Rolling Star next by Yui. Or is it pronounced you?
Yui.
It is pronounced Yui. Fantastic singer-songwriter. Famously did the first opening sequence for Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yep, absolutely. Great song.
Great animation in Rolling Star. It's a different tone and pace compared to the last couple of opening sequences altogether. It's a
Well, this is
very
this is the opening of the start of the Arrancar
Mhm.
like crisis. This is where they're like, okay, we're doing a big shift in what the tone is. You've had a filler arc.
Yeah.
You at the very end of the. I'm taking it. This is always going to be a spoiler cast to some degree.
Yes.
At the very end of the previous main arc, obviously
Mhm.
Aizen was revealed to be the traitor, and
Yes.
he left Soul Society with his lieutenants. He and we've had like a whole filler arc to kind of
Mhm.
forget about that. And this is like,
Yeah.
no, this is where we're back here. We're like Orihime is like at the forefront of this, like where she is being highlighted as like a main character here.
Mhm.
It shows like cuts of like things to come.
Yes. Yeah,
Um,
in certain ways, I think the main thing this highlights as well is, this is probably the point where Ichigo starts to find it difficult to control his, like, hollow his Vizard powers, shall we say.
yeah,
So that he has this, like, internal conflict, um,
two
and
wolves.
he yes, and this is kind of like the start of not so much his doubt, but I guess where he can't hold his holification for long periods of
Yeah,
time.
the more he becomes the more Shinigami stuff he does, the harder it becomes to keep the in a hollow down.
Yeah,
Um, and you do, yeah, that's the underlying story, isn't it, of this whole arc is Ichigo trying to find a way to come to terms and control that power.
yeah. Whilst there's these new threats being introduced with the Aaron cars and to an extent the Espadas as well, because I think we by this point we've introduced to Yami and maybe Grimjaw.
They all appear in this arc. Yeah, they keep visiting the town for
Yes.
various reasons. I believe that they were originally sent to the town because Aizen wanted Ichigo dead.
Uh,
Um, but they decided that at his current power, he's no threat to Aizen, and
mm,
they left him after his hollow powers went like paralyzed him, and he got like beaten up, and Orihime and Chad nearly got killed.
yeah, yeah. So
Um,
this song really reflects on sort of Ichigo's state, I think, where it's the sun setting, he unsheaths his Zanpakuto, and again, this camera does a real nice 360 as he unsheaths it and goes into a Bankai. But yeah, I think it's a great sort of mood setter to kind of let you know where the character is emotionally and stuff.
Yeah, I think this one is a good entryway into what's to come.
Mm,
Very much sets the mood. Very enjoyable, good pace, and it's. I think you'd be mistaken to thinking that it's quite an upbeat song, or it's going to be quite an
yeah,
upbeat like opening, where actually it's got highs and lows in the song, so it kind of like
very
really
much.
lets you know that it's not all great.
No, got to keep rolling, as they say, rolling star.
Like a star.
Uh, where would you place this on the list?
I'd probably put it at A.
Yeah.
Still A.
I really would put this as an A. I'm a big fan of UA's work. So I love this song so much.
I agree.
I never cried.
I got lost in where we're going next. I was like, what comes next? And then I remembered what comes next. So I'll let you introduce that.
Okay. Next song is Alones by Aqua timez. What can I say about this one? This is a banger. I'm I'm going to say that word a lot as well.
Yep, same. Don't worry.
This, compared to Rolling Star, this starts off very soft and very
It's very
low in
somber,
terms.
isn't it? It's very.
Yeah, it's very sort of acoustic and singing voice, and then it just kicks off, like just boom, hits you hard. And it should do, because this is the attack on Hakto
Yeah, so
Mundo.
this is when they infiltrate Hueco Mundo.
Mm.
So this is great. It's obviously one of the best arcs of the
Hmm.
season. Seeing Ichigo, Chad, and Ishida infiltrating to go and save Orihime, who has been taken by the Arrancar and Aizen, but she's been made
Yeah.
out to be like a traitor. So they've been forced to go in on their own to do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the opening starts so strong with that image, that like short clip of Kon singing the opening lines, accompanied by the
Yes.
mod souls, which is great. I love it. It shows
See,
like
oh yeah, go on. I'll get
I
to.
was gonna say, so it's this opening shows how desolate and how different Hueco Mundo is compared to the realm of the living.
Yeah.
You get to see you get to see Aizen's palace. You get to see some. I think this is another one of those openings where it doesn't show a lot of what's going on in the story.
Hmm.
It's kind of like setting the scene as
Yeah.
opposed to kind of revealing what's going to happen in the arc.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. It does a great job of there's so many great sort of little clips in this. So for example, there, like you said about Aizen, it does this great part where Aizen's in his old sort of Shimigami stuff, and he slowly turns the camera, like with his glasses and everything. And then he does the classic pulling of the cloak, and you
and then
see
it
the evil
pans
version.
right out, and you
Pans
see
right out.
all of the Arrancar
Yeah, it
like
lined up.
and especially like that's linking directly onto that. There's the scene of all the Arrancar like walking towards the table.
I think that might be After Dark.
Is it? I thought that was in this one.
So there's in After Dark, which is the next
Yes,
opening.
yes, you're completely right. You're
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
right. I'm getting all jumbled up on watch. I'm consuming too much Bleach. I don't know where I'm coming or going.
What, you're doing too hard. So yeah, they there's great clips like that. I remember when this was being aired, and you used to find it hilarious when Renji was running with his cape. There's that little animation of him holding his sword, and he's just running really high elbows up, like.
Yeah, absolutely.
um,
Love seeing people running across the desert really fast.
whilst holding all the stuff they can.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's definitely one of my favorite openings.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, this is definitely, and again, it's a great song to match a great arc and a great sort of moment in Bleach. Um, S,
S.
yeah.
It's gonna go in S. I was like, if you say A, I know where you live. I'll just say that. Like, you'll wake up in the middle of the night. I'll just be standing there, and I'm just like, shh, 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 shh.
What are
Then
you?
then you'll realize you're not in your bed. You're lying on the floor of your studio. It's just like, it's like, what are you doing in my house?
Uh,
It's
yeah.
hard and that's a good word. It deserves the S. Enjoy it at the Top King.
Mm, the first S,
Mm,
and it's taken what 5? That was the 6th opening.
yeah, and I mean none of those openings before it were bad as well. They're all
No,
great. I wish I could give them all S, but there are some that are better than the others.
absolutely, absolutely. Uh, I know we touched on it already, but After Dark by Asian Kung Fu Generation. Of course, Asian Kung Fu Generation are famous for the second Naruto opening.
Haruka Kanata. They
Hmm.
are veterans on the J-Rock scene. They're still going strong decades later.
Yeah.
Like they're still releasing new music, whereas other like groups have like disassembled now. They
Mm.
are just
Yeah.
going so strong. And After Dark is great. There's another great opening.
After Dark has a real high energy about it.
Mm.
Like it, unlike some of the previous songs we mentioned, where it has highs and lows, or maybe start off low and then get high. This just has like a kick ass sort of tempo, like energy throughout the entire song, and I love it for it.
And that's what I think Asian Kung Fu Generation is so good at. They're so good at writing music.
Mm.
So I think this is my ethos generally behind why I listen to so much J rock and J pop and stuff, like on like Spotify, like when I don't actually speak much Japanese, and that's
Hmm.
because when I listen to it,
Yeah.
and this ties up really nicely over here with a quote from Woodkid. If you know who
Okay.
Woodkid is, Woodkid said he wants to write, and he wants to write. And this is his goal when he does it. Write
Hmm.
music that makes people feel like heroes when they listen to it. And
Oh no.
when I listen to like J rock or J pop,
Yeah.
I am instantly my brain instantly releases all of those good chemicals that make me think this is good. Like it makes me feel like
Yeah.
I know exactly what they are doing in this series of this anime, and I can attribute it to. I can see the anime opening playing out in my head every single time, and it makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
And Asian Kung Fu Generation is really good at doing that.
That is a great point. Yeah, it is. That's fantastic. I didn't know Woodkid said that, but it makes a lot of sense with some of his songs like Run Boy
Yeah,
Run, um,
Iron. Yeah,
Iron. Yeah, wow, gosh. Uh, so yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it's like you said, it's one of those songs that if you listen like in the car or streaming device, whatever it may be, you can instantly play it out in your head.
absolutely.
It's such a great song. And the sequences in it as well. So, like you mentioned before, the sequence with the Espada approaching the table. Don't know if you can say it's a meeting table or a dining table, considering they have dessert.
They have a nice cup of Wakeman and tea, don't they?
They do, yeah. And that's my favorite bit as well, where he sits there with the mug in his hand, sort of thing. Um, but yeah, I say with the sequences, I think the black and white stuff is really good and really clean animation as well.
Makes you think of the manga, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So,
And especially the final sort of sequence where Ichigo breaks through to the room, and it does this weird sort of slow-mo of him going across the table to strike Aizen.
and he's got his mask on when he
Yeah,
first enters the room, and the mask shatters as he gets within striking distance, and
yeah.
Ichigo is shocked by the fact that the mask shattered. But then he goes back into that cocksure, like kind of look of
He has
his, and he's like
the
ready to
smirk.
go.
Yeah, I
So
uh, I really, yeah.
great, great opening. I think you know what I want to put it, but where do you want to put it?
I think it's gonna have to be an S. It's it's just a perfect recipe, isn't it?
Yeah, pop it in there, and we'll move along to the next one. Would you like me or?
Yes, I'll let you take this one.
So we're back to fillers, guys, and this is an opening that screams filler for me, anyway. It is the fake captain arc. It is Chu-Bura or
Hmm.
Chu-Bura. And the thing is, with this is I don't dislike the song. I love the song.
Do
And
you?
I love the start of the opening sequence because it feels very slice of life because it just like starts with that like
Mm,
heavy guitar and they're all throw their like stuff up in the air. They're at the beach and it's all like fun and lighthearted. And then it goes on to the typical like filler arc stuff, and that's where it falls down for me because for me it was not a strong filler arc. As you have probably guessed, I am
mm,
rewatching all of Bleach at the moment, but we're skipping out all the fillers.
hmm.
Um, I watched this filler art the first time around when I was watching it years and years ago.
Yeah,
It wasn't like amazing. I really liked the introduction of the new captain,
yeah,
but it's like kind of I feel like where the story went, I feel the story was unimaginative. I wasn't infused by it,
yeah.
and I think that came across in for me at least in the opening sequence as well. Even at that point, um, I think that's when they had just started. They just changed the aspect ratio for Bleach,
Yes. Yeah.
and it started going like widescreen.
Mm.
So it's a shame, but you could see like they had changed. Like the colors were more vibrant. They were obviously the production value had obviously changed.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's a weird one because like as you say, it's almost like a filler of two halves as well, because there's the filler part where they protect the princess,
Hmm.
um, uh, of sorts. I can't remember why she's a princess. I think she's just like a noble from a noble family or something.
Yeah,
Um, and then, like you said, there's all the stuff with the new captain and everything else.
yeah,
Uh, um,
and these like fake Zampactos that they're all these artificially created like Zampactos that this like mysterious
yeah,
group is like creating.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then you find out going through the new captain, Captain Magi, is actually right at the center of all this. And the reason why I liked him is because he completed like a trio with two of the other captains,
Hmm.
Mukataki, and I can't remember the other guy's name, even though I was literally talking about him before the show. Um, but it's the captains who have dual Zampactos, and he
Yes.
also was made out to be a captain who had two Zampactos.
Mm.
But one of
But
his Zampactos was a fake one.
I was just going to say, because I remember there was one that was like a fire, and there was another one that was like almost like a seashell.
Yeah, so he had like one of his Zampactos was like a regular sword. The other was like a tuning fork or something like that, like a really ornate tuning
Yes.
fork, and he would basically like hit the handle of the one sword against the tuning fork, and it would like make this like effects. But then you
Yeah.
find out that it's like actually a parasite that's absorbing like soul energy. So so I would
Uh,
actually I would put this opening at C.
Funny you should say that. I would put it as C as well, just because I don't think it's as memorable.
I
Even
agree.
though I watched it an hour ago, I don't think it's that memorable.
It's wild because I feel like tonight for
Hmm.
that was obviously the opening scene to a filler arc, but it's
Yeah.
so impactful in
Yeah.
like the way like it's such a good like opening
Happy
for
song. Yeah.
yeah, but this opening sequence is just, it feels like a filler. It feels like less effort was put into it, and I feel like the song itself is good. I feel like if it had been not a filler arc, it probably would have been
Yeah.
a much stronger contender.
Yeah, it's not a terrible song. It's just doesn't
Yeah,
stack up to the others.
yeah.
That's probably the worst part.
But what comes next, eh?
So Aqua Times are back. They went away, but now they're back.
They come back strong straight after a filler arc.
Oh boy.
Oh
I gotta
boy,
remember which
indeed.
icon this is for.
You are looking for the one at the very end.
I thought as much.
Yes, because that's the end of that opening sequence.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've always really liked this one. It has this weird effect where it has almost like this shaky cam thing that happens with
Yeah,
the certain like movements and zoom ins on characters and stuff.
yeah.
Um,
The
yeah,
reason I really like this opening sequence is not only does it really throws you straight back into exactly where we'd left off with the
hmm
Hueco Mundo arc. I like that it kind of uses different mediums of art, like because like you said, you've got like these like shaky like camera scenes that are all like
yeah,
black and white or very dim colors, but you've got like that whole rap sequence, which is basically it'll show a captain, a lieutenant, and their captain, and then it will like show like a still shot of like them, but it's like
yeah,
really dynamic. It's like camera swings around them, and I think that that's really cool because it's much more pastel colors. It's like there's not shading or anything like that. It's just you see the captain, you see the lieutenant, you see the captain. It's like really cool.
yeah. It's I think it's very stylized in the first half because it's got, like you said, when it does look at the captains and lieutenants, the backdrop is like brightly colored, almost a bit like Star Ocean's opening, where it's all brightly colored and stuff. But yeah, the second half of this, where you see a lot of the Vizards fighting, and again that shaky cam and it's slightly darker shading. I really like that.
Yeah, it's a very good opening sequence. It's actually where I'm at the moment in the anime.
Yeah.
Um, so this is the freshest in my mind. So but it's great because like it's very dynamic as well. Like when you get to like the real like the chorus of the song, I guess you get that scene where the camera kind of like doesn't rotate, it spins as the main good guys run towards the camera and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you see Ichigo, you see Chad, Ishida, you see Nell, who
Yes.
appears in this opening sequence in her adult form.
Yeah, yeah.
You see Renji and Rukia and stuff, and it's just a really dynamic scene. I really enjoy it. It's really good.
um, where would you place this on the list?
I think I'd put it at S. Aqua
Ooh.
Time is kind of dominates in my heart.
Yeah.
So
Give me. I'm just gonna have a quick listen to remind myself. Hold on.
okay.
Uh, I think this is safe. Yeah. Did you hear it?
I didn't. I was just dancing because I
Okay.
wanted to make you anxious. You're like
Thanks.
my revenue.
Not my revenue. Just
I know.
means
You
like
don't
this
want that.
stream suddenly ends. Okay, yeah, I agree with you. It's a great song as well, so it's easily an S.
Yes. Excellent. Pleased to hear it.
Something that's wild in its delivery. Shojo S by Scandal.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the mindset was. Like, that's not me saying it's bad. I'm not
No,
saying it's bad. It's just that it was unexpected. It really,
yeah,
it kind of opens uh like an action shojo.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It does. Very heavily. influenced by Charlie's Angels, I think, as well. There's a lot
Yeah.
of like silhouettes of Rangeku, Orihime, and Rukia, and they do dances in skirts and t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
It's an interesting route to go. You get to see all the captains, because obviously now we're into the Aizen's left to open window. He's above the
mm,
town. He wants to destroy the town to make the key to get into the king's palace.
yeah,
So you get to see all the key players in this battle.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Stuff. It's not very. I wouldn't say it's a very dynamic opening because there's not a lot of actual. It's a lot of stills.
Yes.
So
But the animation on Orihime and Rukia's dancing is so fluent. Like
yeah,
it that those parts are very like well produced.
absolutely.
It's just a bizarre opening for Bleach.
Yeah, I think that's why I would put it at B.
I'd put it as a B as well.
And let's see, we're of the same mind, my friends.
Yeah, if I was more of a simp, I'd probably put it at an A.
Don't simp too hard, my friend. Don't simp too hard.
I will not. You have my word. Um. So this opening sequence, I laugh because to me it's not that memorable. Anima Rossa by also the band's name. I can't say all of it because it's not PG. So half the band's name is Graffitti. You can Google. I'll put the list of the tracks in the description, so you can always have a look, especially if you want to listen to some of these songs that we're talking about. But this is the opening sequence for the Zanpakuto.
Yes. YouTube
If
would
you
like that.
This was the opening sequence for the Zanpakuto Rebellion arc, which is another filler, but it's probably one of my favorite fillers.
I think that the idea behind it was really good. It had a lot of promise. I don't know if
Yeah,
it 100% delivered on that promise,
no,
but I do think it was, as far as fillers go, it was a lot of fun because you get to see like all these characters that have always been there, but we've
mm,
never actually gotten to like, because all the Shinigami have got these like soul spirits that they are
yeah,
constantly engaging with. We've never got to see anything except the interactions between like Renji and Zabumaru and
hmm
um, Ichigo and Zangetsu. That's the only interactions we ever see with people in their soul spirits usually.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
really cool to see these like anthropomorphizations of the Zanpakuto.
yeah. And surprising as well. I guess this is a little bit of a spoiler. How spot on some of the designs were for later characters achieving Bankai.
Absolutely. It was so good. It's that sort of story that you're like, you always thought it would be cool if it did happen, and then it did happen.
Mm,
It's
yeah,
almost like it came right out of the fanfic, isn't
it does. It
it?
really does feel like this was a fan made arc, but it really wasn't. But yeah, this arc was a guilty pleasure. The opening, I like the animation and the sequences in it because you get to see all the different characters. You get to see there's this great shot with Bakia, and he's like back to back against his Zanpakuto, and the camera rotates around them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I think there's some great shots in it. Obviously, you see Zabi Maru, who's almost like two
yeah.
little
It's two
Zanpakutos.
spirits, isn't it? It's
Yeah, one for the snake and one for the
the
ape part.
moon. Yeah,
And then you see Rangeku's Zanpakuto. I think it's
Heineko.
Okoye or Hanako. There you go. Um, so yeah, it's some great sequences in it. It's just I don't think the song's that great.
Yeah, I don't think it's a memorable opening sequence. which is good. Well, I say that it's not good,
Mm,
which is probably fortunate for the filler that it was actually not a bad filler arc. It's just
yeah.
the thing is, I think the filler's got such a bad reputation that I think that most people, before they watch a really long anime, are like, okay, what is filler? What episodes do I
Yeah.
avoid? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
No, you're definitely
how do I
right.
trim the fat?
Yeah, I'm having that experience right now with Boruto.
Mm.
Like, I'm kind of like, do I really want to watch the filler of Boruto?
Some of the filler is okay. Some of the filler
Yeah.
you got to skip through the episodes to get to the good bits.
Yeah, it's so yeah, I filler is filler at the end of the day. So would you say C?
I'd say it's C.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And now we move
Uh
on to
Change by, would you say Minwa
miwa.
or Miwa?
That's what I would
Whew.
say, but I could be completely incorrect.
No.
Change is great. Change is really. It's once again we're off a filler arc. It's just chucking us straight back into like this really intense, high stakes battle between Aizen and his army of Arankar and the Shinigami who are trying to protect the town.
Yeah.
So yeah, great
I yeah.
animation, very dynamic.
Oh, is gorgeous. Change is so good. It's again one of those sort of high tempos, like
Well
never
done.
dips.
Gosh, stupid dog. Apologies. My dog rudely interrupted the podcast.
Want to be part of the conversation.
He does.
Yeah, I really like Change. I think with Change as well, it shows a lot of the Ichigo versus
Pretty good, yeah.
Akura fight.
Yes. I've got the compilation rolling as we go along, just so I can remind myself. Yeah, you get to see a lot of that fight. You get to see some of the fighting between the Espada and the Shinigami captains. You get to see
Oh yeah, that was
some of
great.
the Vizard fights.
Hmm.
Um, you get to see a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. You get to see Wonder Weiss again. Who doesn't love Wonder? I don't like Wonder Weiss. He
I
scares
don't
me.
like Wonder Vice. No, thanks. I I think this is a banger of an opening. I really bloody love this.
Hmm. And it's kind of like this kind of like serves as like this almost like getting towards being a climax of Ichigo's battle within Hueco
Yes.
Mundo.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so absolutely, it was good. Really enjoyed it. I don't really have a lot to say about it. It's like it's one of those anime openings that is just kind of good, that just works. You get what I mean? Like,
It ticks all the boxes in like except for the one that kind of makes it an S rank. Would you say like plays it by the book?
plays it by the book, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I'm trying to remember which one this is. I think it's this one with Yorichi.
You could be right. Let's see if I can identify. I don't think I can. Tell you what, this gets bonus points because it's got your favorite thing in it, and that is an anime hero falling through the sky. And I know how much you love that.
I
Um, I-
do I do love that, or an anime hero falling into water.
yeah. I'm not sure which one it is. I think that is it. I think that's the one.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't know why it looks the way it does. That's weird.
It didn't choose to be that way. It just is.
Oh right, yeah, that is it, because that's where Ichigo fights the Espada. So that's the green spear going to strike him.
Yum.
Yum yum. Uh where are we? Where are we? We've
Ranbu
just
no melody.
by
No,
C.
that's sorry. Yeah, that is no. Wait, I'm so confused. Yeah, we're in change, aren't we? Are we still talking about change?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've just
so we're
done
still talking about
change.
change. Yeah, we're on Ranbu
Oh,
no
wait.
Melody by Sid.
I put change into S. We said A, right?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
It does get bonus points for having someone falling through the sky, but not. But yeah, Sid. You know, Sid. He did
Sid.
he did the Magi opening theme. It's great.
Oh, did he really?
He also did the opening theme for the first season of Black Butler. I think that was Sid.
No way.
Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure it was Sid who did Black Butler. Monochrome Kiss. Monochrome no Kiss. Monochrome. Sung by Sid. Yeah, Sid who sings Monochrome no Kiss. But yeah, Sid. He's a great artist.
I've just realised, you know that shaky cam stuff I was talking about before?
Yeah.
That's in this one.
Lots of it. I see it. I see it. Are we back on fillers at this point? No, we're in regular, normal viewing.
Yeah, it's still the attack on Ichigo's hometown. But I think this is where all the captains are kind of fighting in this one. So a lot of the Espadas are revealed their versions of Bankais and
Yeah.
vice versa and stuff. Yeah. Great song.
It's a great song,
Great
but
animation.
I think the animation is good, but I do think that it's not super memorable.
Very true. So are you saying it's a B on the song, but maybe an A on the animation?
Yes.
Absolutely
agree with that. You get the final call though, my friend?
I don't know, because I really like the sequences in this. Like, there's the sequence where Rangeku cries and it lands on Gin's face, and then it does a reverse up, if you know what I mean.
I mean, at the end of the day, you are the captain.
I am the captain.
So you can make the call. You can make the hard choices.
I think it's better than Shojo. But is it better than Rolling Days? No.
Yeah, go on. Where are you gonna put it? Where are you gonna put it?
I'm putting it in A.
There, I'll take that.
Yeah, I don't think it's better than anything else before it, as in like Technolife and everything else.
Yeah, it's got its merits, but it's not the strongest.
It's not the strongest. The next one is an odd duck for me. It's a real odd duck, and I'll tell you why. Blue by, I want to say it's Vivid. This again is a filler arc opening sequence. Now I want you to try and remember, it was the arc where it was the modded souls that were getting cloned based off the captains and the lieutenants.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like,
it kind of, so you might disagree with this. It kind of feels like they took the formula from the previous filler arc and they reskinned it.
I have to be honest with you. I thought there was 2 Zanpakuto Rebellion arcs.
That's
like
what
2 filler arcs.
thought when I was thinking about it. I've just Googled it. I just Googled it to just remember where we're at. And it's basically the exact same story. But it's like reskinned. So instead of like the other half of them there, like Zanpakuto's rebelling against them, it's just themselves rebelling against them, so they're using their own Zanpakutos against each other again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to see your favorite fights all over again. Like, I think you got to see Renji versus Byakugan again.
Yeah.
But
Urahara versus Urahara.
but yeah, it's I really like the song, and I really like the sequences in this. Especially like when they all try to attack Kenpachi. There's a sequence where they all try to attack him at once, and then the Tenzen Zanpakuto by the Fox captain punches him into the ground, sort of thing. I like it. I don't think it's, dare I say, I don't think it's A tier, but I really like this one.
Let's put it a B then.
How do you feel about this one?
I'm kind of meh about it. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
it's because it's a good opening sequence. The arc itself I think has soured it for me.
Yeah.
So I give it B.
Give it a B.
No higher though.
No higher. No. The last one,
Last but not least,
Harukaze?
Harukaze.
Kaze by Scandal.
Now I'm gonna level with you right here. I've not watched this arc.
Okay.
I've read it. I've read it. This is the only arc because by this point I for some reason fell off. I think it's because I think it might have been because of the previous filler arc. I just stopped watching and I never picked it up again. And I know that there's a lot of controversy about the Fullbring arc. I know that it doesn't. I think a lot of people really don't like it, and I think it's because it's like I think to some people it felt like they were trying to reshape what Bleach would be.
Yeah.
When all they needed to do was trust the process. They didn't trust the process because by the end of it, it's like same old Bleach again. It's just that Bleach had to go on this journey, didn't he? But
I think to an extent as well. I vividly remember the rumors of Bleach ending, flying around like during the Aizen fight, which made a lot of sense because he was the big bad. He had been the big bad for years, yada yada yada. And then once that ended, I think for a lot of people they thought that's it. It's finished. It's it's done.
Where could it go from here?
Where could it go from here? So I think for a lot of people, that might have been the end for them. And they may have not known about either the Fullbring arc, or if they did, they were already like, well, I kind of knew this had ended anyway. I don't know how this is still going, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The opening itself is pretty good. Like I gave it a watch earlier on. I'm just rewatching the video just now. The animation is crisp. I think this is probably the best the animation got because this was like the most recent season.
Yeah.
Obviously, it shouldn't serve as kind of an indication of what the next arc is going to be like animated because there's been so many years past now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get to see all of our faves come back in this opening sequence. Song's pretty good. Kind of shows, I think it shows a lower stakes battle.
Yeah.
In it because obviously, a lot's changed since the end of the battle for battle against Aizen, especially for Ichigo.
Yeah.
And I think that the opening sequence reflects that very nicely. It kind of becomes a bit more lighthearted and a bit more slice of lifey and at the start. It actually has very much has like the same sort of vibes as Tonight.
Do you
Like
reckon?
not the song, but like kind of like what's happening in the animation.
Oh, I see.
What's going on there. It's like there's like it's focusing on Ichigo. There's like loads of school scenes. There's like kind of like loads of colors and things that don't necessarily equate to like what's going on in the story.
See each of the Fullbringers as well. They have like their 2 seconds on screen.
Yeah. So
Flexing
it's
their
good.
moves.
It's not bad by any stretch. I've not had this arc ingrained on my soul though. So
Mm,
I enjoyed it in the manga, but I've not like had weeks and weeks and weeks of waiting for new episodes to kind of always have that song stuck in my head.
yeah.
You know?
I I'm not a fan of the song.
Yeah,
The song does sound like a bow out song, if you know what I mean. Like if this was a theatre show, you would know this is the last
the
song.
final song. Yeah,
Yeah. Um I really like the sequences in this opening. My favorite part is when Ichigo walks towards the screen and the background changes to each of the almost like title cards for each episode,
yeah,
if
yeah.
you know
No,
what I
no,
mean.
completely. I completely agree there.
I really like that's a real nice touch. Um I just don't think it's the same level as what we got, say, in the A category.
I'd say B.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
happily pop it in a B.
I do agree. It's very much the who lives, who dies, who tells your story of this of the Bleach anime, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
So
If this was Hamilton, yeah, yeah. I think that's a great tier list.
yeah, no D's. Like there's nothing as bad to be put in D.
Absolutely not.
So I think we nailed it. I think this is the most professionally done tier list for Bleach opening sequences that exist on the internet currently. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
enjoy.
So when you watch this on YouTube, or if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, you'll know that this is expertly handled by some absolute Bleach connoisseurs, experts.
It's honestly like we curated this list for you,
Mm.
not for us. We're not so selfish that
No,
we would
no,
do this
no.
just for us. We did this for you, and we hope that you agree with our choices
Absolutely.
today. But if you don't,
Fantastic. There we go. I think that is everything. By the way, we have had some comments in the live chat. I'm just going to pop them up on screen quickly. So we had this comment here from Sven, AKG. I'm here because I search for Asian Kung Fu Generation.
well,
And then they followed it up with this comment. It seems I'm in time.
perfect.
So we are glad that you joined us here live on YouTube. You can watch this back, by the way, if you're listening to this or following this on one of the many platforms. You can watch this back on YouTube and like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Mr. Susude, anything else from yourself?
I don't advise watching 20 episodes of anime per night. It does weird stuff to your dreams.
Yeah,
That's my advice.
that's the takeaway.
That's the takeaway. Don't watch 20 episodes of anime per night. It's hard.
Drink
It's hard
water.
going. I don't have the
Yeah.
stamina for it anymore, but I'm still somehow doing it.
Spoken like a true veteran of the game.
You don't get a my anime list like my list by like not being built different.
Bred different. As always, make sure to follow us on all the social channels at Undisputed Anime on Twitter, at Undisputed Animes on Instagram. Of course, we have a Facebook page where you'll find updates and clips and things of that nature. Everything will be linked in the description down below. Make sure to give us a star rating if you listen to this on Spotify or Apple. And one last shout out. Thank you to the Black Anime Podcast for doing numerous shout outs on us this week. I really appreciate it. So that's been some great exposure. Mr. Susude, as always, thank you for joining me and giving me your insights and everything else.
It's been a pleasure.
Never a chore.
It's been a pleasure, my friend.
It's always a pleasure. And we shall catch you in a fortnight, bi-weekly, whatever you want to call it. And
In a
I guess
fortnight, yeah.
I guess we'll talk more about the Crunchyroll Awards.
Yeah, so that'll be on the 2nd of February.
Mm.
Unless something comes up scheduling wise, then
Yes,
maybe not.
unless. Either way, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we shall catch you on the next one. Ciao. Bow.